This is an original model from me, Groundeffected, and I'm going to show you how I prepare this model for getting painted. This is Groundeffected, my name is your dad, and many people have been asking me about my preparation for painting models, what I do to prepare and get them ready for the primer. This video is about that. I will just say this was available over on my Patreon because I made it for the Penny Bell model, which in this video is the model I'm going to be using to show you preparation, but Frankie has very kindly put it in our store and it will be on half price, so whatever price is that you pay for in your country, it'll be half of that. It's also worth mentioning that there are 2 other videos as well as the main video on the channel for that specific model. It's one of the only ones I've done that with. So if you're interested in a very in-depth perception, whatever, then this is the model bundle for you. Preparing a model is going to come with many opinions from many people. Obviously, when you print a model, you're going to have some form of support marks and sometimes some drainage holes. Now to fix these, it's pretty simple really. Just frickin' sand them off. You use different types of sandpaper, like for example a normal piece of sandpaper. This is a very rough one, which makes sense to use on the inside of that bottom of the base, which you will never see that part, but you can't be using the sandpaper that is like frickin' rocks on the back of your model because you will see those marks. So I'm gonna go to a slightly not so sandy sandpaper. I'm not 100% sure what grit that original one was, probably something like 80 or even maybe 100 grit or something like that, but the one that I took out this box now, that is a piece of sandpaper attached to a sponge, which to be honest doesn't make it any better or worse, it's just a way of having a piece of sandpaper, and essentially that is a 180 grit. I'm going to use a softer one later, but what I was showing you there is different ways to fill the holes. Now obviously there is a hole on the back of this model's head, and that needs to be filled, and I chose to go, instead of green stuff or milliput or even that weird plastic putty stuff, I just use super glue because it takes seconds to cure once you spray it with the activator, and that saves me a lot of time. So if you just don't care for waiting for stuff, then maybe glue and activator is the way. Look at this here. People say they can't see how much they need to sand when the model is not primed. You definitely can't, but there is a way to see, and that little edge that I showed you is the clear evidence that I needed to sand more, which is why I went in with the knife. By the way, a knife is a very valid way of sanding, especially on resin models, even on plastic models by the way, but it is a good way to clean up stuff. You may notice I'm using a toothbrush in between and I'm rubbing the model with my hands. That is because the oils on my hands is making it go smooth and not white, so that I can see what I've done, because when it's white you can't actually tell what you've done, but annoyingly you do need to clean it after that. But also, byproduct of cleaning it is that you can like contain all of the dust. So sometimes the dust gets a bit too much, and if your wife is shouting at you for making dust everywhere, or you are just making too much dust in general, well then yeah, you're gonna need to spray it to make it wet, and this is called wet sanding. I think a very important thing that I learned quite late in my career actually is that sanding in circles is not ideal. Especially if you're not very good with your hands and stuff, you need to sand in one direction, and what you may notice is that I'm sanding one direction with one of the sandpapers and then the other direction with the other sandpaper. This is because the scratches kind of like over scratch each other, and that way you get a smooth surface, and I only learned this by doing my jewelry making stuff, so maybe that was the reason why I needed to do that for whatever time it is. But another thing that I learned from jewelry was these little discs. This is going to take a skill though, because if you are a little bit ham-fisted with these things, you're gonna ruin your model so quickly. Like genuinely, don't be crazy with these things. There is these ones with like a spongy kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a wire brush in a way, but if you look up radial polishing discs, radial polishing disc is what you need to look up on Amazon. I'll get Frankie to get us some lists of these things, but for now, You can try to find them yourself. They're pretty easy to find, and they have different grits, just like sandpaper. So each one for each different tool, obviously. With these radial discs though, they do leave marks, but they're really good for hair, because if you keep going in the direction of the hair, well then it makes the holes a little bit deeper and also gets rid of any rando weird lines that you might have. Home to the mountain. To the mountain. And now that the model is prepared for its spray paint, I'm going to use Chaos Black, which you see me use in all my videos. Future Groundeffected here. This is the paint that I have eventually ended up using. And this is because I found this was a whole lot cheaper than using the one that I'm about to show you. But all the same process pretty much applies. If it's a rattle can, then you'll do everything I say. If it's this stuff, well then it'll be just sprayed through your airbrush and you don't have to warm it up or anything like that. But it's important to note that this video was made a good few months ago before I found the Kaleido Primer, and currently Kaleido Primer is what I'm using for everything. And I'm gonna be honest with this one, I really like how this is, but you can use other things. Obviously not a matte varnish, that would be weird, but also technically would do the same thing as this Chaos Black is doing, and just putting down a layer. But you can get other colors. For example, look how much bigger is the Color Forge compared to the Citadel. You can also just use a cheap bargain paint, spray paint, if you really have to. You don't have to use Citadel. These little clips that you see in the videos, I don't know if I've shown them good enough, but either way, these are just crocodile clamps. You can find them on Amazon, really cheap. You get like 50 in a bag, and they're really good for holding things, but obviously some things don't have things to hold on to. So this is why I save every single one of my old paintbrushes. When it becomes dead, or I've used it for doing some random washes that ruined the brush, that brush becomes a brush to stick inside of the butthole of a model part that I need to paint, and then I can hang it up so that I don't damage it while it is drying from the painting that I'm painting. And basically now is the time that I just need to put everything in its place. I can pick up on a couple of things that I missed with the preparation, but those little things came, that like sharp pole thing, whatever that is, that came from an old pair of these crocodile things, but that was on these weird clowns. Now, no matter what paint you actually get to spray as your primer, you do need to shake it very well, and another good trick with that is to actually put it into some warm water. But really, shake it very, very, very well, because the paint needs to mix up good and proper, and otherwise you're going to have a sad time. I also like to spray like 1 or 2 sprays out just to check. This is probably why my airbrush booth looks like the depths of hell, but if you can just cast your eyes aside from that, you can watch how I primer this model. Now obviously primering a model is pretty straightforward in my mind, I would say, but maybe you still don't know what's going on with this, and so I'll try to roughly explain what I'm doing here. But I'm spraying from an angle, so when I'm spraying, I'm getting all the bottom angles, and then I'm getting all the top angles, and now here I'm coming in the bottom, so I'm going from one way and then going across the other way like that. This ensures that I get a nice even coat and it's not too wet. I'll be honest though, I'm painting it a little bit wet in these images that you are seeing, so if you don't get it this wet in the first time, you don't have to. I'm just doing this because I'm pretty accustomed to using my spray cans. If you are a little bit stressed about this, you can do this in layers, and if you just move a little bit further back from your model, it won't be a perfect coverage the first time around, but it will be a decent cover when you come over on the second time around. In my case, I just spray it as thick as I know it should be and could be, and I'm literally on the edge. And I'll be totally honest, sometimes it does drip, and if it does drip, well then you gotta come back and sand. But technically you should be thinking of coming back to sand after all these parts are dried. That is one of the bits that I skip when I'm doing my videos, just because I'm really busy. I need to get the stuff out, and I'm like crazy time frames. So what I normally do is I'll do all the black parts now, and I'll have a brief look, but I will just leave it if there's anything missing. By the way, Don't try to speed this up with the hairdryer. You can, but if you do, it may make the primer bubble, and you'll be a bit sad about that. And what you're looking for is a nice, even, matte surface. That's the best surface for painting your next layers of acrylic paint onto. And now that I've got all my model parts precariously hanging up and ready for their colors, I'm going to leave this video right here. Please feel free to leave some of your own tips for preparation in the comment section down below. If there's anything you think I've missed, now go buy a penny bell.